Everyone's comparing Bitcoin to gold, but is it really that safe haven everybody says it is? Here's the data to kind of talk to you about what's really real and what's not. So before you double down on your crypto or you start cashing in your gold, you need to listen to this first. Hello, my fellow Ripplers. This is Chris Miles, your cash flow expert and anti-financial advisor. This show is for you if you want your money working harder for you so you don't have to work so hard for money. You want to become work optional where you have enough investment passive income to help you work because you want to, not because you have to. All right, so I've had a lot of people ask me lately about my thoughts on crypto, Bitcoin, whether it's Ethereum or whatever it might be, right? They want to know, is this really the new safe haven? Is this the new gold? And more people are starting to say, and I hear this online all the time. People are like, look, it's just like gold and silver. It's something to actually hedge against the dollar. This is a safe place to put your money. But is it really? And so I want to show you what's happened, especially when we had like these Trump tariff situations. How does it compare? How does it relate to gold and silver versus what it's actually doing for itself? And like I said, the data might surprise you. I'm recording this, of course, just before October 15th. The Trump, had this tariff war going on with China again, doing their little battle, flexing their little, who's got the bigger tariff stick and that kind of thing. And as they're doing that, of course, we've seen prices go crazy. We've seen the market drop pretty quick, like a rock, and we've seen different things happen. So what happened with gold versus Bitcoin specifically? Watch this. All right, so this is the 1 week chart for gold specifically. Now you'll see here, as we move into the 10th of the month, right? You can see this is the 9th. It already kind of dropped down on gold. So it had like this little dip here. And then on the 10th, this is when we had the thing going on with Trump that happened. And you'll see all of a sudden, it just starts to skyrocket. So as people started to get worried, saying, okay, now Trump is talking about punishing China. This is before China decided to retaliate, right? Which was just more like today, the day I'm recording this. You can see all of a sudden this thing just starts to skyrocket. So of course, people, what are they doing? They're seeking gold as that safe haven. Now, silver, in my personal opinion, and you can argue this all you want, and I'm okay with that because it is arguable. Arguably, I think silver is a better asset in general, just because there's no more utility and because it is something that still measures along with gold too. It prices pretty well, usually like an 80-to-1 ratio, somewhere between 80 to 90 type of ratio here. Well, right now you're seeing that gold is just taken off. So even from that low on the 9th, before everything was going on with the tariff talks and things of that nature, we saw it down around 39.76, right? So it's down around 39.80. Now, as of this moment, it's about 41.50. So this means it's gone up almost $200. That's about a 5% jump. Or as you can see right here, as it shows for the 5 days, 4.46%. So even though we've seen the stock market drop, we've seen most everything drop, right? We've even seen oil prices drop as a result, but gold has been going up. So of course, if the theory is true, if Bitcoin is just like gold, people would say, I'm going to flee to Bitcoin, right? That's where they would actually go. Let's find out. All right, so here's Bitcoin over that same period of time. Now we saw it was up there really high, doing awesome. This is showing as of the 10th because gold had an extra day. So even when gold was starting to climb up again, we already see that Bitcoin as of the 10th, which was Friday, Bitcoin was riding high over $120,000. And I remember the articles coming out saying, hey, it's about to hit a brand new all-time high. Here we go, Bitcoin. And I'm not saying it won't hit an all-time high, but watch what happens. After the whole tariff issue, bam, drops like a rock. It ended up dropping down to, looks like about just under about 105,000. Stayed above some support levels, but look how fast it dropped, literally in just hours. Now, it kind of recovered a little bit, but you can see it's kind of been riding low as a result, because again, there's nothing been resolved yet as of the date of this recording regarding those tariffs. So notice this one had about a 7% drop, while gold had almost a 5%, about a 4.5% increase. They did not mirror each other. They were not the same at all. In fact, they had the opposite effect. But what actually did look like what happened with Bitcoin here the last 5 days? It's this. All right, so what looked similar to Bitcoin? S&P 500, the stock market. Now notice the stock market in the last 5 days has only been down about 2/3%, right? but it was riding high right there through the 10th. Of course, you can see then, bam, it drops like a rock. It dropped pretty hard, pretty fast, popped up, and now it's just kind of riding along, right? So yeah, it's starting to try to recover a little bit, but notice it looks a lot more like Bitcoin than actually gold does, doesn't it? Gold went up. Gold was safe haven. S&P was not. Bitcoin was not. So when I hear people saying all the time, like, well, Bitcoin is the new gold, right? It's the new currency that we should be using, the new thing that's actually backed by assets. The truth is that it's not. And this does not mean you don't have to just go sell all your Bitcoin, sell all your crypto. That's not what we're saying right here. But do not for 1 minute think that Bitcoin is a safe haven. It's a safe place to put your money. It's a hedge against the US dollar or anything else like that. It is not. It is a speculative investment that's backed by, well, not a lot, right? I remember, so people might think this, and yeah, you could look at this and say, wow, that cost me a lot of money. It's kind of like Matt Damon. Matt Damon didn't decide to be the main character in the movie Avatar and passed up getting paid massive amounts of royalties. It could have been a billion, if not hundreds of millions of dollars for him, maybe $1 billion type of investment for him to do that movie. Well, for me, Bitcoin might have been the same thing. I was introduced to it back in about 2011, back when it was less than a buck. And I remember somebody telling me like Bitcoin is the best place to be. It's a hedge against the dollar because the dollar is backed by nothing. It's just dead. You can't trust the government. Remember, this is post recession. So a lot of people were bitter and they're telling me like, yeah, this is awesome. This is the way to go. I said, cool. So you're saying don't invest in the US dollar because it's not backed by anything. It's just debt. It's fiat currency, right? It's paper money. Yeah, that's right. So I should do this Bitcoin thing, right? Yeah. What's Bitcoin backed by? Well, I mean, we don't really know who created it, the Satoshi guy that nobody really knows. And it's but the cool thing is it's digitally. I mean, this is the future. Okay, cool. But what's it backed by? Well, it's basically another medium of exchange. We can actually pay each other and do stuff. Okay, kind of like PayPal. Yeah, kind of like that. Okay, well, cool. But what's it backed by? Well, nothing. It's just backed by that we believe in it. Okay, cool. So, like the US dollar. If you've been following this podcast, you're probably looking for great ways to create passive income right now, right? Well, we got you covered here with Central Lending. Central Lending specializes in alternative investments that actually are designed to create steady returns and long-term financial security for you and your family. Now, they prioritize transparency. They love, building those strong relationships, giving you that confidence and peace of mind, knowing that you have your money working harder for you, so you don't have to work so hard for that money. You want to learn more how to do that? Go to centrallending.com and check out what they've got today to create your passive income and wealth creation right now. And he's like, no, it's better. And now I get it. A lot of you guys that are crypto fanatics, you say, no, Chris, actually, there's something here. It's a scarce type of resource versus one, although we do have mining still happening, but it's controlled mining, which, by the way, they said the same thing about the US dollar, and now it's not out of control, right? But so this is the thing, is that people look at Bitcoin like it's gold or silver. Now, understand too, gold, they talk about all the time that there's so much more gold in the earth that hasn't been found. The one thing they have said about silver is that there's less of it to be discovered, that there's less abundance of it. There's still some to be discovered, but not nearly as much as gold. That's another reason I kind of like silver too. It doesn't mean I don't have both, because I do have both, but it's a little bit different. But remember, through history and through time, gold and silver has been a safe haven, because the truth is the reason that gold prices do go up and silver prices do go up is because if the value of the dollar decreases, typically gold and silver increase. That's not always true, because we did witness previous to the last year or so, right? Even through the mid 2000s into the 2020s, early 2020s, we didn't really see gold and silver move much, even though we do know for a fact that the dollar is printing like crazy. But I really personally believe that there's a lot of institutions, including countries like China, Russia, who are out there trying to buy up gold slowly so not to attract too much attention, right? There's a lot of people saying, man, gold's not going anywhere, sell it or whatever. It's not worth it. Well, I didn't. I knew I bought it cheap and I wanted to keep it that way, and I'm reaping the benefits of it. Now, I also have crypto too. So it's not that it's an either or situation, but I realize that crypto, I do not put into my commodities bucket, right? Gold and silver, I put into commodities. And yes, I do see it as a real store of value, much like I view real estate. Anything that's real asset, I do view as a real asset that you can use as leverage against the dollar. But can you say the same thing about crypto? Really? Can you honestly say that crypto has real good, hard, tangible value? What's backing it up? What real value is there? I mean, it's funny because people talk about like, oh, AI is going to take over and it's going to shut down things, and maybe there's going to be a massive EMP and shuts things out. Well, cool. What happens to your crypto when you can't access the internet? What happens if a system gets hacked? Now I get it, the nodes and everything else, and you have like thousands of servers. There's no way you can just take down one of those things. But we don't know what that is on a global wide scale. If it does take down one or two or three, and even there's thousands there, still, if the threat looms that it's still possible, people might still run and grab it out of fear, right? And so, again, that's more apocalyptic type of things. So it's not that, again, I'm poo-pooing all over crypto. I've done plenty of that. And yes, I do think it's high, and I do think it can go higher, but I do not think it's the thing that's going to make you rich. And it's definitely not the safe haven you're looking for. If you're looking for safe cash, gold and silver for a long-term thing is good. Remember, gold and silver, though, is not where you want to put all your money if you're not financially out of the rat race. If you still don't have enough passive income to be able to be work optional yet, your first phase might be just trying to get to work optional. Have a little bit of gold and silver, not a lot, a little bit of gold and silver maybe, and then you can look at diversifying. You might keep a little bit of crypto too. But remember, crypto goes in the speculative bucket, the place that very few people put in money into. You look at the family offices, most of them only put maybe 1 to 3% in speculative things like crypto. But they will put more money in gold and silver if they're trying to preserve wealth. They will put more money into other things that are like real estate and other alternative investments, even things in energy and oil and things like that. And of course, they still will have some money in stocks and whatnot. So it's not that it's an either or situation, but do not for 1 minute think that holding crypto is the same thing as holding gold or silver. It's not. It's closer to holding an S&P. And that's the one thing that should encourage you if you have crypto is that it's not vacillating. It's not as volatile. It's not jumping up and down as nearly as bad as it used to. It used to be way, way worse, even just a few years ago. It's starting to stabilize a little bit. It's starting to mature. This is good. But still, based on the volatility of that versus the stock market, we can already see it. Where that lost, 7%, the stock market only lost about 2/3%, while gold increased by 4.5% in just a 1 week period of time. So understand this, is that if you have that crypto, it is a speculative investment. It's not something that's going to keep you safe, especially if the dollar tanks. It's possible people will buy into it, but in as much as people see a value in it, then people will buy into it. But once people don't see value or they got to cash in their chips, don't be surprised if all of a sudden you lose more money than you even would in the stock market holding your money in crypto. That is very, very possible. Yes, it can have high, big gains, but there can also be a big, big loss on that side too. So be forewarned. That is not the place to store your money right now. Even though, especially if everybody's telling you to store it there, if everybody's saying, oh, you should buy crypto, even people that don't know much about money are telling you to do that, that's exactly the time you don't want to be storing your money in crypto, right? Just like when everybody tells you to go into stocks, or even if everybody tells you to go into real estate, which was just several years ago, people were saying that. And then we started to see the cracks form, didn't we? Now, a lot of people were saying not to buy real estate, which is why real estate didn't, crack as much as what we've seen in other places. And so that's the one thing you got to be very aware of is that you've got to be careful who you're listening to. Remember, cryptocurrencies, I think, are here to stay, but it does not mean they're going to protect your money. That is not the place to store it. That's a place to say, here's money I'm willing to gamble. I can lose it, but I want to make big on it too. I'm willing to do either. If I'm willing to lose big or win big, there's a little bit of money I'll put there. If you want to store your money safe, you've got the assets like gold and silver. You've got things like real estate. And even when I mentioned too, if you want even safer money, less volatile money, that's why we have things like max ROI infinite banking to help protect your money and keep it there, because that's backed by treasuries. And literally that money's actually being invested and making about a 6% a year tax-free. It's not sexy. It's not going to make you rich, but it's definitely not going to lose you money either, where that money is guaranteed to always make money. So there's better safe havens to keep your money than just putting it into crypto. So again, I'm not going to beat that dead horse. Crypto, gold, not the same. But I would love to hear your comments in the comments below. Tell me. I mean, what are your thoughts? Where do you think crypto could be a good store of value, or do you agree with me? You say, no, crypto, cool way to maybe make some good money, but it's definitely not the gold or silver safe haven that they always say it is. So you let me know in the comments. Hey, if you're really curious, you want to know how much passive income could you actually create in the next 12 months? How can you actually become work optional? Is it really possible? Go to moneyripples.com, fill out our work optional calculator to find out how much passive income you could create today. In the meantime, guys, go and make it a wonderful and prosperous week. We'll see you later.